Alright, it is handover day for this beautiful 255 formula. The masterpiece on this boat is the epic set of Mercury 350 Verados on the back. This is the second set of these V10 350s we've put on a 255. The other set's on our demo boat. Same block as our V10 400 on our last demo boat, but it's got the small V8 gearbox on it, so a lot less drag, a lot less motor in the water, smaller cav plates, and a huge range of props, so we can really tune this thing to get it running perfectly. Now this is the second formula we've built for Dan, which always makes it super easy when you're building a boat for a customer that already knows the boat, knows what he loves in his current boat, and knows what he was missing. Dan has a 233 formula, was actually one of our last potted demos we made. It had a windscreen model and a bimini top and a pair of 300 Verados on the back. Dan absolutely loves this boat, but he's doing massive runs offshore, so for him, what he was looking for was some more fuel capacity. The 255 formula comes with 600 litre standard, so that was just a no-brainer for him. What Dan absolutely loves to do up there in North Queensland is his bottom fishing, chasing things like red emperor, that type of thing. Finding these small bits of reef in the middle of nowhere is the key for Dan. The electronic package that Dan and I put together on this is exactly tailored to that style of fishing. They have huge runs out to where they like to fish. I think the further they go, the bigger the fish they find there. What they do find is these patches of rubbly reef in the middle of the mud and sand, so very different to how we fish down here in Victoria. What we've put in from Simrad is a 3D down scan, and that's the perfect transducer for finding an isolated bit of rubbly reef in the middle of nowhere. Gives you really incredible detail. We're out here in the Rip today at Port Phillip Bay, and it's a perfect bit of structure to see how this thing works and the detail that we can find in the bottom. That's going to be the difference between finding the perfect bit of reef holding those red emperor and missing it by 20 metres, you know. We've mounted that unit right in the middle of the keel. That also has structure scan and side scan as well. And then off to the side of that, through the hull, we have our traditional 175 high wide, which is your normal type transducer we put in most of our formulas. That sweet transducer setup's paired really nicely with a set of Simrad 16-inch screens. Dan's opted for 2 on here. We've got heaps of data here, obviously completely integrated with the Mercury, so we've got all our data here. We've got the autopilot integrated through here, so we can sort that out through the map on the side there and run everything there. We've got our Osmarine switch panel right in the center here. We've got access to all our pumps and lights. Of course, we've got our esky slider in and out for the transom esky, and we've managed to put our Mercury 502 gauge in the middle here too. Bit of an option of whether you need a gauge or not for the Mercuries, or for any engines these days, because you've got all the data in your MFDs up the front here, but it's nice to always have a dedicated screen here to run your revs, your fuel usage, and just keep an eye on everything you got running on the motor here in front of you. Having the 2 screens is great. Obviously plenty of space to have a split if you want to have a sonar and a map, or if you want to have the FLIR camera when you're running out at night. Having the 2 16-inch screens is a great use of the dash. Most of the fishing Dan's doing up there is in that sort of 80 to 100 metres, so you're definitely not pulling up an anchor by hand. Of course, we put in our Savwinch 2000 series stainless steel Savwinch anchor on here. That thing holds this 255 beautifully, and it's really easy to use, just simple up and down button. Nice and clean on the dash there. Huge runs is exactly what Dan and his family want to do, and this boat is so comfortable for that. Of course, the 255, really the feature of this boat is not having a pillar in the windscreen. This massive one piece of glass, the vision's incredible. You pair that with a great set of seats on the suspension base, and this driving position is just unreal. You sit down, put the autopilot on, and 100k steam goes in no time. The deck space on the 255 is absolutely enormous. We've got the rear-facing eskies on this boat. Doesn't take up too much deck space. Gives an added spot for the family to sit down, or for the passengers and the crew to sit down on the run out. Once you're fishing, great spot to sit and watch your rods. And then of course, like all our 255s, we've got the transom esky on the actuator, so you can pull it out if you want somewhere to sit on the run out, put it away when you're finished, and a great spot to store food and drink. It's another esky on the boat. Like all our 255s, the Seakeeper Ride is a standard inclusion on the hull. Really good bit of gear. It's a trim tab system that automatically trims the boat for you. Set and forget, that's in full auto mode. Don't have to worry about touching the tabs. Massive live bait tank with 2 separate lids on the 2.5 formula. Live bait fishing is not something that Dan does up north, but they'll come in really handy for storage of just your bait and everything during the day. Great spot to just flush it out and get all the smelly bait out at the end of the day. Huge bait board, perfect spot for cutting up your bait and stuff like that. And then this fishing area is just unreal for the guys. They love to put their rods in here, and they can sit their sinkers in these cup holders when they're just quickly moving between spots, ready for the next drop. This 255 is going to be an unreal platform for Dan to fish up there in far north Queensland. I think you're going to find it a huge upgrade from your current formula, and I can't wait to see this boat up there soon.